Hi, I'm Katie, and I'm really excited to be sharing this conversation with Miss Andrea.
Hey, Miss Andrea, I'm so glad that we can have this conversation. I'm so interested in all the things that we can learn. I'm Katie,
Hello,
by the way.
Kate. So glad to be talking with you again.
Yeah,
What do you tell your children about the guy, about Santa
the guy.
Claus? The guy.
They're four, so they're really in this age of kind of starting to understand stuff. It feels like
Mhm,
they're more
mhm.
aware. So what I like to say is Santa is a fun game that we play. I got that line from somewhere on a Facebook group, and I'm like, oh, I'm keeping that.
I love that
Yeah.
to death because I never mentioned the big guy in my house ever. My decorations are all snowmen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I just was like, I'm not going to be disingenuous to my children.
Mm.
And when the younger one was in kindergarten, her brother brought her into the room with me and he was like, okay, so let's just talk about Santa because we don't mention it here and everyone's talking about it. And so I did my best to go back to like the original story. Apparently, there was this guy who went from house to house and he gave gifts. And, so now we keep up that tradition in the spirit of Santa Claus. And she
Yeah.
said, so he's dead. And I said, yes. I got notes from school the next day because she announced to the whole school that Santa was dead. And there was screaming and gnashing of teeth. And the teacher said, "You're a liar, and so is your mother." And it was a whole scene. But
Ridiculous. It's
yeah.
ridiculous for people to work really hard to maintain a lie. Like, as soon as your kid is like, you should say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now she was 5, but her brother was 7.
mm-hmm.
So the younger child is going to catch on earlier.
It was a whole
You know.
thing with my dad. Like, he was heartbroken. And then he was like, what else did you lie about? Did you lie about the tooth fairy and the Easter bunny too?
So my kids got mad because they were like, "Well, we still believe in the tooth fairy. Where's our dough?" And I'm like, "Bro, all that's not real." I was heartbroken. No, I was traumatized.
Oh.
I was straight the worst kind of traumatized by by that. Because my parents were like, "Hey, there's no Santa because we ain't got no money this year. But
Oh.
don't tell your younger brothers because we have money for them." And I was 4th grade. I mean, I was a believer.
What?
I was done. I was done with my parents.
That is
I was
horrible. Like, I genuinely believed that Santa liked the rich kids better than me. And that hurt.
oh where I lived, we're all poor. It was good. It was good. But I the trauma because my parents had gone through so much effort in previous years. Like we didn't have a chimney. So I remember because my we're a blended family. So a year after mom and dad had got married, I remember laying in my bed and daddy had this trap door to the roof open and he had the vacuum cleaner and he had it on and he was like, "I got you, Santa. I'll get you off that roof." Like it was a lot. Like daddy was going for broke, you know? And then like 2 years later, they're like, "Oh, we ain't got no money this year, so there's no Santa Claus." And I was like, and
Dang.
to this day, I'm a Scrooge. I'm complete and utter Scrooge.
Parents don't know how they can really just mess their kids up by working to lie to them.
Yeah, like the effort of the lie is what
Hmm.
ticked me off
I
so
respect
bad.
my kids too much to do that to them.
I use that word a lot in the homeschooling world. It, it's really about respecting our children. You don't interfere with their education. You don't prioritize other things over their education. You don't lie to them
Yeah.
because it shows a lack of respect to
Mm-hmm.
your children.
And
And no, children don't have to earn respect.
you can still have
They just gotta
magic.
be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can still have magic without lying.
You absolutely
So now
can.
I want to get better at doing this. I want to speak to people watching this video. Write down in the comments
what you do with your kids or what happened to you when you were a kid. What were some Christmas traditions you did every year as a child?
What we did before and after the There Ain't No Santa Claus debacle is we did midnight mass. My stepdad was Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Catholic school through 8th grade. And so at least through 8th grade, at least through 7th or 8th grade, we did midnight mass. Mostly once we hit age 10, 11, it was just my stepbrother and me. My families weren't the most faithful Christians, but my stepbrother and me, my same age stepbrother and me, were in the same Catholic school together. We were in the choir. And so we would get to open our Christmas Eve gift, which was always a new coat. And we'd put on new coats and we'd walk the 1.5 miles to our church connected with our school. And we loved that so much. And after that, we went to a church called Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which is actually a Catholic African thing. It actually predates the Roman Catholic.
Wow.
And so we did that, and my whole family did that. And just midnight mass, it was just so ceremonial, and it just felt so good. I love the Catholic and I guess Orthodox tradition of celebrating Christmas.
The reverence.
Yeah. Any idea about the big deal people make over Black Santa?
Do you know, I never heard of this at all until I read this book by John Green, where this kid's, and one of the characters in the book, his parents
John
had
Green, the YouTuber?
Sorry?
John Green, the YouTuber?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
And he was really embarrassed not wanting friends to come over to his house because it turns out that his parents had like the world's largest collection of Black Santas.
Oh, your child is embarrassed. Okay.
But because it's just excessive, it's like everywhere in every single room. But
because if you're gonna go black.
That's what they say. But other than like this reference in this book, I've never heard anything about Black Santa. So what do you got for me?
So Black Santas exist. My friend has a Black Santa from her childhood. And it's a lawn ornament. It had actually faded, and she went and painted it back. Back to dark skinned. I've seen them on and off through my life, here and there. I'm from the north, so you see Black Santas, white Santas. Anybody with a beard could be Santa. But then I moved to the south, and the Black Santas got super scarce, super scarce. But I'll take a Santa. I never thought about Black Santas, white Santas, But then maybe 6 years ago, someone on TV was like, "There's no Black Santa. Santa's was white. And by the way, Jesus is white too." Jesus is Mediterranean, y'all. He's from the Fertile Crescent between the Euphrates and other river in Mesopotamia. So Jesus looked more like me. Just saying,
I'm so
in the Bible. So people are like, there's no Black Santas and there's no Black Jesus too. And I'm like, Jesus is at least brown.
Yeah. I so hate this white Jesus, this blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan Jesus. It's just ridiculous.
My daughter told me, I haven't confirmed, but my daughter told me that the artist who painted it, that was actually the artist lover.
Yeah, could be. You never know.
That was actually the artist gay lover, is what my daughter says, based on her research, and she's quite the historian. So I'm just gonna leave that there. We don't have to conclude it. We don't have to talk about it, but
it's out now.
That's what my historian told me.
What are traditions that you always did with your kids?
Traditions that I did with my kids. Well, first it was to break the debacle of my childhood.
Right.
But before that, what as children, the one thing that we did that continued was that we just had large quantities of cheap gifts.
Hmm.
Because at any point there were at the most 11 people in the house and at the least 7
Wow.
as the older ones moved along. And so everyone bought everyone a gift. Multiply 11 by 11. That's a lot. And so we would just have just a mountain. And it was how big can the mountain get? And even after my sister moved out and became a banker, so she would bring 2 or 3 gifts per person, and they weren't cheap. So there was one year where half of our living room was just this mountain of gifts
Wow.
around the tree. And they were mostly stocking stuffers, but they were so much, it was so much fun.
Wow.
And then the thing I hated about being a kid was my brother would wake us up at 3 a.m. and make us open gifts. He would get the parents up, he'd get everybody up at 3 a.m. and open gifts. And to me, that was so anticlimactic. Because then when I wake up later, I'd be like, "Meh." You know what I mean?
It should
But I
be like
despised it.
should be like, I don't know, 6 at the earliest or something like that.
I despised it. So what I've never done is that. What we do is we try to sleep in at least till 8. The kids would let us go until 8 when they were small. Now we have to wake each other up. We might make it till noon. And then my husband cooks breakfast and we eat breakfast. And then instead of this grab, which is for who, each person gives the gifts they bought out to whoever they bought it for. And we open one gift at a time and we take like an hour or two. And it's just so much more relaxed, and people get to say thank you appreciatively versus what's next. Do you know what I mean? And you really get a better reaction when you're taking your time through gifts.
Yeah.
So what do you know about Kwanzaa?
Kwanzaa. I know it's a holiday invented in the 60s to be like a Black alternative to Christmas. That's it. That's all I know.
And that's what I know also.
Oh.
Because I have never celebrated Kwanzaa, but I made some notes.
Cool.
Not new, 1966. Well, it is new, 1966. That's 2 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Kwanzaa's 2 years older than me. It is not African, so it mimics their harvest celebration. The whole first fruits thing. The founder was hella problematic.
Oh.
Hella problematic.
Hella.
Went to jail for abusing women. So there's that. So I'm not doing his holiday. It is not, instead of Christmas, it's post-Christmas. It starts the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an instead of, it's in addition to.
Okay.
Unless you completely reject Christmas, then that's your decision. And most people don't do all 7 days. And it's kind of dying out.
Mm.
But it's so funny, I worked somewhere and worked for this Jewish guy in this carpet place, and he did an ad about all the different holiday deals, Christmas deals and Hanukkah deals. And I just jokingly said, "What about Kwanzaa?" And he was like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no. Tell me about Kwanzaa." I'm like, "Bruh, I was joking. I don't know a darn thing about Kwanzaa." So he went and looked up and made a Kwanzaa sale, and I was like, "You do you, boo." That was back in 2000. And people don't know more about Kwanzaa now than they knew about it in 2000 or in 66. It's
Well,
just, I think inner cities really culturally, like, people might celebrate it, but general African Americans don't celebrate it, and Africans absolutely don't know what it is.
Another one of those weird American things.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do to celebrate the arrival of 2021, getting past this dang year?
Last year for New Year's Eve, I got out my canvases and my paint, and me and my best friend and my daughter painted.
Cool.
I don't know if I don't want to repeat anything that happened last year, but I kind of want to bring in the year doing art. I kind of do.
Yeah, I like
And I'm
that.
like, that didn't go good last year. We'll see. Please, please, please explain Black Pete to me.
Oh my gosh, my face when I Googled this was like,
You don't know about it? Isn't it a Swedish thing?
nope, it's a Dutch thing.
Oh, see, y'all be getting credit for being awful people.
Oh, but it's a so I did Google it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 170-year-old tradition. It started from a Dutch school teacher wrote this book,
It
and
started during slavery.
yeah, like a few years before slavery was abolished. Either a few, yeah, like it was 1850 or something that this book
Mm-hmm.
came out, and was it 65 that slavery was abolished? I want to say
Sounds about right.
65, 1865. So it's a thing that so many people do. Blackface, pretending to be Santa's jolly dumb helpers. But I talked to my friend who lives in the Netherlands, and she said that it's recently changed, and there are no government funded parades with Black Pete anymore. Like people, they can't stop individuals from doing it, but before they had like the government would pay for someone to dress up, be the official Black Pete for the parade.
That's Santa's slave. Like that is the antithesis of Santa. You know what I mean? It's the
Mhm.
antithesis. It's like Santa, you got Santa, and then you took him away by doing the thing about blackface is seeing it causes trauma.
Mm. I can't
It
even
you see it and
imagine.
you're like, oh, you like stop. And when I see it on TV, I'm like, why are they still doing that? You know what I mean?
Mm.
It makes your heart stop, just like that X flag that we have around here in these states.
Oh.
There are certain things that you see visually, like that black jockey on the front porch that I see in the South. There's some things that you see and you feel trauma. You feel it stops your heart for a second.
Mm.
It's just a reminder. People don't think you're good enough, or people hate you, and
Mm.
you're like, ugh, So.
But it was really interesting. I have another friend who is Brazilian, and she's
Mhm,
got a lot of European background, like Swiss, German. So she would be considered white by
mhm,
probably a lot of people. She
mhm,
maybe look a little bit Hispanic, but she's not Hispanic. She
mhm,
doesn't know what she is. Race
mhm.
isn't as big of a deal in Brazil as it is in America.
Well,
So,
it is. It
well,
isn't, but it
she's
is.
Brazilian. I'm gonna
They
take
get
her.
mad when a dark-skinned person wins a pageant.
Yeah, but I mean, she's Brazilian, so I'm going to take her word for this specific thing. Is like
Mhm,
there's this story where there's like this. I don't remember what it was, but it's some kind of like creature, and there people are saying that's blackface, but they're not human. There's they like paint themselves black, but it's not a skin representation. It's a creature from the fairy tale representation.
hmm.
So
It would
the
be better if they
spirit,
used a mask, perhaps,
but
just
the
to
spirit behind
stop that
it is
visceral, like, because it's a visceral upset that you
yeah,
can't control
yeah.
because you feel like your whole culture and everything that you are is being mocked because
Mm,
someone's making fun of your skin
yeah.
that you have no control over. And that honestly, I kind of like it. You know, this chestnut color. My makeup color is chestnut. I kind of like it.
It's
you
good.
know?
Good to love your own skin, and
Yeah.
nobody, it's like as soon as somebody's feeling like that about something, like screw your culture, just stop doing it.
Yeah. Like there's so many things that I've stopped over the years because I was informed that it hurt someone's feelings.
Right.
When we talk about mentally disabled people, that's not even a correct term. I have to ask someone, but we don't use the R word anymore.
No.
Didn't kill me.
No.
And I grew up in the house with someone who was mentally disabled, and that was the word we used because it was the medical word.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found out that it is now hurtful, I stopped. And there are just so many words and so many phrases, and I have so many gay friends. And every year they update me on the phrase, and I'm like, okay, what is it now? Explain it to me so that I understand. Because
Yeah.
I I do things better when I understand where it's coming from. I'm glad to hear Black Pete, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, is becoming a thing of the past.
Yeah,
But
at least
when
it's
in doubt, just use your own skin color and dress up as the character anyway. You know what I mean?
people still do it. They're like, it's our culture. It's not racist. It's just being Dutch, and it's a whole thing over there apparently.
It's not Dutch. If it's less than 200 years old, it's not being Dutch. Go back further in your history. There's something cooler there. I'm sure there's something cooler in your history. My background isn't all that Christmassy culture at all.
Neither is you have a Christmassy elf. I have books.
The Christmassy elves are covering my books, and they're up for my children because I teach online. So just to give them a little festivity during the classes, and I taught my last class of this season yesterday, so they can actually come down.
It's funny
But
that behind you is actually the kind that we see on Gotland. Not like real elves, but that.
Yeah, I mean, this is not an American type image.
No, it's what I see all the time over here.
It's so cute though. And the colors are not American either. Like these are not our regular Christmas colors.
If I was rich and I could afford to,
these are our Christmas colors. Well, you know this, red and green.
Oh yeah.
Elves.
If I was rich and could send mail, I would send you one of those little dudes with the hat over his nose and the beard.
Yeah, we got these from Pier 1 years ago, and my family hates them. They're like, those look evil. So I keep them in my personal space and don't subject my families to them. Oh, that's cute.
This is what Swedes put up in their windows. These and these beautiful stars.
Okay, so what is the story behind it?
I think these are representing the stars. I think it's all kind of the same. I have to look into this, but you put these things out at a certain day to represent the journey of the wise men coming to Jesus, and then you take them away. You have to take them all down so that Herod doesn't follow the star back and find baby Jesus.
Oh, that is cool. I love Advent because that was all part of our Christmas Eve tradition. We'd start at Advent and it would lead up and we'd light the candles, a lot like Lent. I love the entire Advent season. That seems more like Christmas to me than the commercial Jolly Do.
Definitely. Did you know that the commercial Christmas thing wasn't a thing until the 1950s in America?
Yes, I read that. I read that this week, and that in the 1800s, the celebration of Christmas period was outlawed because we had, was it Quakers or Puritans or someone here? They were like, none of that. We're not bringing that over here, and they wouldn't allow it.
Because it was another excuse to just get ridiculously drunk and pass out. Like it was like based on a Viking celebration of basically just getting drunk.
Well, Christmas isn't, or Christ's birthday, which is what we based this on, isn't December 25th. What happened was, and you probably know this, is that the Catholic Church looked at all the pagan holidays and was trying to get the pagans to become Catholic. So they started superimposing Catholic things onto pagan dates, and they messed the whole calendar up.
What I don't understand, I think it goes along with the whole American culture of, the 50s were the best time. That
I would be amazed and I would not be happy.
I know, but that Christmas, celebrating Christmas in the commercialized way is something to be proud of. Because if you actually believe in Jesus and believe that God became man, that's a really lowly, humble, small, like what I still don't understand this. It's like part of my identity. Like, you know what I mean? Am I making any sense?
We find weird things to hold on to, just as humans and as crowds. I'm not a crowd person. I'm an odd duck. Even in my large family of 11 people, They're always like, what's with that kid over there? I've always been that person that just questioned everything and stood back and observed it and decided if I wanted to be a part of things. I've never gone along with the plan. So to sit and watch people go along with plans right now, I'm just like, does anyone think? Does anyone think for themselves? And we're just a very mob culture society, especially with the advent of social media, which I think is wonderful in a lot of ways. There's still a lot of mob culture. There's still a lot of fifth grade activity.
The bad thing about social media isn't social media's fault. It's human mentality's fault.
Yeah.
That it just intensifies the echo chamber.
Yes. Most people don't mature past middle school.
Really?
This is an Andrea-ism.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if anybody else believes this at all. But most people just don't seem to mature past middle school, because I see the same mean girls, I see the same bully boys, I see the exact same playground activity into adulthood. Now, a lot of people do mature and I see them, but there's just so much more of the people who got stuck in, you can't be my friend if you're her friend. And I'm like, what grade are we in? I am 52. Lord, I'm like in grade 117. Can we stop? You know what I mean?
I think this is part of a reason that we click so well, is that we're thinkers. We want to push the boundaries. We want to learn. And there needs
my favorite type of people in the world are either very cerebral or kind of mean. Because at least they're honest.
So maybe I don't know why you like me.
At least they're honest. I love naughty people. I love people with like a little mischievousness.
Okay, I do have that.
Who like to rib people, and just don't rib me. I don't like that. But I like people with a mean streak because they're so purely honest. Not evil. Some people cross over to evil and narcissistic.
Right.
I just like people who just say what they think. They say, I'm from New York, so there's that.
And then you really know where you stand with them.
Well, because I'm an epic Scrooge, and we were just in this doldrum of timelessness, I gave my family permission to put up Christmas decorations on before Thanksgiving. They went for broke. The videos on my second channel, I have to convert you to my second channel, are gorgeous. My house is amazing.
Wow.
And then my son's friend came over and they strung the house. It was a full day event. There was nothing safe about what they did.
That is a great sequin sweater, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I don't get too festive. I have a very big head. No hats fit on it at all, whether my hair is up or down. I could make one, but that's effort.
Yeah, right. I am not effort at all. This is like the no effortest Christmas of my entire life. But my aunt gave me this shirt a few years ago. Can you read it? Or is it backwards? Chillin' with my gnomies.
Oh, that's cute. I've got gnomes around me.
Nice.
I've got my gnome pillows. And I've got you can't see them. I've got felt elves up there. My daughter says this room is evil Christmas.
Yes. Thank you for this. I hope we can have even more conversations because I love to talk to you.
Yes. I absolutely love talking to you as well. And I look forward to spending some time together in the new year. How's that?
Totally. And so I will give hugs.
Hugs.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for watching this. I would really love to hear your thoughts about any of these things, about Black Pete and White Jesus and all these things that are just so interesting and really need to be talked about, I think. So, anyway, I know I already did this, but I'll do it again. Hugs! And if you like this kind of content and you haven't already and you've watched this long, you should subscribe and show up every week for vlogs and conversations. I really want to get to 700 by the end of the year.